Hey there, and welcome to the Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise Friday night community race where we are running the group stage flags for the Adamant Cup. You might have heard that there is a big spring tournament coming up, and our runners are going to be showing off those group stage flags for you. My name is Sheep Launcher. I'm here with Professor Renderer. And Professor, I know you're signed up for the Adamant Cup, as am I. What's exciting you most about these flags?
Oh, these flags are quite interesting, and to say the least. Seven objectives for one thing, and also two that the restriction on Cecil and Fusoya is actually it's interesting because you're pretty much forced to use a character that you're not really familiar with if you're just coming out with like the pink puff league or anything like that, or you're just starting out the game after you've done like a couple supermarket sweeps and such, and we're with our new restricted flag that's in the beta. I think it encourages a lot of different compositions later on. Obviously once we get into the actual bracket stage, Cecil and Fusoya are taken out. So that's just like the scratching the surface of what I like about this flag set.
But we are underway. We're glad to have you with us. Our runners starting with a Yang and a Tella. So a lot of looting is going to be on the table early. We have our featured runners, FF4FE, Mike34, Vatasia, and S-Grunt, here to put on a show and get some idea of where they stand in relation to 22 total runners.
And everyone proceeding to head over to Troya to pick up that free key item from Edward.
Yeah, this is a flag that isn't on all the time, but our runners certainly aware of it now. It was a magma key to start, Kainatsu handing us that. Yang and Tella, Professor, what are you looking for with a starting group like that?
Cat claws primarily. Just having that cat claw on Yang as early as possible will help a lot when it comes to, like, with the earlier levels. It's a little bit hard to kind of get. I think, at least from my opinion, they're a little hard to get Yang up when he doesn't deal a lot of damage starting out. Considering too that we're also running with the Neki flag set as well.
Grunt is running his first community race, so a very warm welcome to S-Grunt. He did find in that sub-treasury a Gaia drum, which is going to help him get through one overworld boss, certainly almost for free. PK and Mike heading over to Agar to drop the magma key in the well. So with a beginning magma key, the above ground and underground are all open to you. I imagine the Land of Summoned Monsters is going to be on the top of a lot of runners' lists. There's only one trap chest under there, so for about the same treasure looting odds as Castle Eblin, with a lot less resetting, so it should go a lot faster.
Yeah, if you have an early magma key like this, as we're seeing from the startup here, it's a good idea to pretty much start with the Fey March and then head over to the Self Cave to start with. At least with the pan especially, you get Sheila 1 and 2 right away. So that's what PK and Mike are doing right as soon as possible, with PK and PK having that pan early on. That was from Eddie.
Yes, the pan leads right into 3 more key item checks, plus there's some good loot down in the Sylph Cave. But with this T Wildish flag on, there's a lot of good loot available everywhere. S-Grunt encountering in Damsian a rune axe, a ninja sword, some good and a ninja hat up above. Not bad stuff.
Yeah, that's a nice nice little start off. Scrum wanting to play a little bit safe and not heading into down into the underground just yet. And after PK and Mike had went to get the item from the shelves, they're now heading into the Fey March, as that's pretty much what we're planning on seeing early on.
I missed what the item from the sylphs was, but the job dwarf was a bindery machine operator. Which I'm not even sure what a bindery machine is.
Yes, zeros and ones.
Oh, those kind of binders.
Oh, yeah, binders. Yeah, like yeah, maybe that binary and binary binders are two different things. There's dealers though.
Our intrepid tracker, Bardic Panda, informing us that it was a crystal ring from the sylphs. Not a key item, but a very nice item to have. I do want to thank our tracker Bardic Panda and our restreamer Alisale for bringing you this madcap Adamant Cup group stage action. S-Grunt going for the character check, finding a White Mage Rosa on Hobbs, and takes care of those D-Lunars like nothing.
And should Scrunt go to the Fey March, there's an Artemis bow waiting for him. And you'd love to see an Artemis bow.
Very nice. Vitasia checking out the free item in the vanilla rat tail chest. It's a moon veil, which you get one of those when you start the game. So not really what they're looking for.
There is exit items in the Fey March item shop, and there goes that chocobo just blocking the path. And looking like we might see Vitasia checking out the Azura and Leviathan spots to see what is there.
So that's a French vanilla Asura and a... Would you call that a French vanilla King Odin in the Queen spot? Either way, those are two really tough Fey March bosses, and Vitasia is in no position to tangle with them.
Oh no! It's a hard. It's a pretty much a tall order at this, especially in the start of the game. As far as that Odin's concerned, I might just say it's like, I don't know, chocolate.
Some flavor.
Yeah, it is a summon, but not in the right spot.
And I was thinking it's a king.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Esgrant gonna take on the bosses of Baron Inn, finds Ogo Pogo in the first spot here. One of the worst bosses you could find in the first spot in Baron Inn. It's okay that Ogo Pogo isn't going to be around later, but just really annoying, and it makes it really hard to set up for the second part of this fight.
Yeah, I think well, Scrunt does take it down, although a little bit weakened after that. There is some form of Scarmiglione. It is Mylon and friends though.
They are going to hit hard. The second spot has a very high attack power for this spot in the game. They're going to get 5 chances to do some damage, although only the Mylon does any physical damage.
Mike finding coffins in the dwarf castle. That'll be handy for when we fight the mad ogres down in Eblin.
EK did find some either 2s in the shop in Tomra. That'll be useful, especially with this Tella. If our runners encounter a darkness crystal at any time, those either 2s are going to be essential for setting up a D-Machine grind.
Oh yeah, I think with the early Tella, it's also nice because once you are ready, you would probably just want to rush down Ordeals just so you can get weak on Tella, and then once you have your Darkness Crystal, and once you feel like you're ready, once you're like pumped up with a lot of life potions, then that Demon Machine grind is looking a lot more juicy at that point.
Zerk now's making an interesting point in chat. Esgrunt did find a Stardust Rod, I believe, on the back part of Mount Hobbs, certainly somewhere. A Stardust Rod could really help take care of the and Friends part, especially of Mylon and Friends, where you use the Stardust Rod as an item. It casts Comet, and it really it is a great AoE damage for this stage of the game.
Oh yeah. So that's why whenever I see a Stardust Rod, I immediately put it on to whoever can equip it, and especially with this starting party, I would definitely put it on Tella and then just start abusing that right away.
Yeah, not only does Stardust Rod really buff up your magic stats, it's also useful as an item. So it's really overpowered, especially for this part of the game.
And we're gonna see PK getting that Rosa fighting the D-Lunars. And Fantasia's gonna go ahead and do the Febo Gauntlet.
Mike heading down into the Antlion Cave. PK famous for fading the Antlion Cave. He hasn't gone there yet, but Mike maybe playing the meta to attack the Antlion Cave before any of our runners have.
Yeah, that tends to be my starting route whenever I play. We do actually find CPU, so there's the actual binary machine operator right here. And that's what I tend to do this because I will, once I'm done with Evelyn, I immediately head over to Antlion, then Hobbs, then Flabool. That's tend to be my starter because that's just the quickest. Like that's some easy bosses that you can complete right away.
Yeah, and especially if you're looking to get some easy early experience, that's usually one of the safer ways to go. It's kind of the vanilla order. Mike does pick up the Twin Harp from Antlion Cave. We'll see if Mike is the hero of the people and wants to follow that particular chain.
Yeah, it's not an objective, but that does open it up the possibility of like a lot of the Fade Harp people wanting to just not do Magnus until that they have no other choice but to do so. I mean, as someone who sees Twin Harp, once I feel ready to tackle it, I just go for it, just because that's what I am. It's the main drive for me whenever I play this game. Hearing that harp.
So Esgrunt might have bitten off a little bit more than he could chew, but he is really hanging in there against this Mylon, really pulling for him to make it through here.
Yeah, this is an interesting. It's a little it's now becoming a little risky, but I do commend him for at least the attempt as he goes down.
Yeah, he had a little bit of rough luck. Board face AI doing what board face AI does and targeting that young, but Esgrunt is going to fight it out another time. It really, you really feel kind of disappointed when that happens to you as a runner, but hopefully you take the positives from it. You hang in there and you learn from it for next time.
Yeah, I do commend the persistence on going through with the pub attack just in Baron. Even if it yielded in a wipe, it still was it's a bold move that shouldn't go unnoticed.
And Sheila has the goods. So the defensive Fabul get the Adamant, which isn't necessary for these objectives, but could get a nice Super Smith weapon. And, well, not a Super Smith weapon, a Smith weapon, an X-Cal. But Sheila has the Tower Key and the Darkness Crystal, both of which hard required.
Oh yeah, that's and that's also right on the heels of the returning the Pan objective. So Fantasia is going to immediately raise the Lunar Whale.
Yeah, Fantasia wasting no time in getting that set up. Knows he's going to need it.
So from here, do you go up Ordeals so that way you can get ready for a potential demission grind?
So first I'm checking the moon to see the character, because I know I'm not going to want to do my grind until I have my 4 characters. If I see any kind of decent character on the moon, I feel like I'm going to have my final party, and I'm ready to grind then. So first I'm checking the moon, and then if I feel like I'm ready, then I'm climbing Ordeals.
Yeah, that's totally understandable too, considering you're at max party 4. If you find a character like Cecil or Fusoya, or I don't know, like maybe like a Sid or whatever, that's a big deal. Just because that way you can, there's now an incentive to go up Ordeal just to get Tella's weak, and also Paladin Cecil, but also to just have that ready for the demishing grind whenever that comes up, I think.
Yeah, I think a berserker or a physical fighter would be ideal here. I don't know how ideal a Fu would be. A Fu would be good, but having like 2 old men, I don't know if that would be my ideal final party. But reflex strats certainly work, and that is a loaded moon shop.
Yeah, the humming waves having sirens and soak webs, that's a big deal. That is great information for Fantasia and PK.
Yeah, and Kamikaze's there too. Always nice to have one of those in your back pocket if you can spare the shekels.
Yeah, having that Kamikaze is nice if you want to just go out in style and just finish a boss that way.
And look who's on the moon. It's a Moon Cecil.
That is exactly what I love to see right there.
This is just about the best kind of opening party you could get with the Adamant Cup group flags. I think Fantasia is thrilled with this party right now.
And yeah, immediately leaving the moon, I would imagine just heading over to Ordeals just to get Paladin Cecil online.
Yep, Paladin Cecil, Tella with his full spell set. No more reason to delay. It's time for mountain climbing.
Yeah, and with Rosa being available as well, that pretty much becomes your final party.
Fantasia doesn't yet know that he has Rosa available on Hobbs. He's going to be pleasantly surprised. Meanwhile, PK going to climb that mountain.
Yeah.
And Escrunt giving the Baronin another shot.
Yeah, again, I appreciate this move. And this time using the Stardust Rods to help with the damage.
Yeah, great play there. Mike going to head up to the moon, follow in Fantasia and PK's footsteps, although I did not see if he went to the altar. He definitely checked out that shop.
I do believe he did pick up Cecil on the way out.
The Kaipo guards are the first fight in Mount Ordeals. And PK actually getting a little bit of extra XP from that officer. Not a play you often see in the first spot, but every little bit helps.
Yeah, and immediately PK is going to knock down Tella just so that the agility is that the agility anchor is right there. Even though Cecil's already not the agility anchor.
And encountering Evil Wall in the back attack spot could be a little bit tricky.
It does have, I believe, Mylon Z's health, like roughly around that health range. So it shouldn't be too much of a problem.
Eskra did make it through that Baron in. Gets that twin. That is a that was a Porum, I believe. It is.
Yeah, interesting to see a Porum pick up here from Escrunt. And at least as far as we're concerned, Escrunt has yet to go down to the underground and turn in to get that pan going and just reap the rewards of having the tower key and the darkness crystal.
PK kamikazes that evil wall to avoid the crumble, saving a precious few seconds, throws that wall off the bridge.
Yeah, very, very nicely done from PK using those kamikaze strats.
The only item reward is a ninja star, but the real reward is the transformation itself.
Yeah, Paladin Cecil, and on top of that, after the fight's over, getting weak for Tella, and then just following it up with the with that possibly a D machine grind. I wouldn't be surprised if this is not a D machine grind.
Very much so. Even though Siren's easily available on the moon, everything is set up to do that D machine grind. PK is experienced, knows his way around it, won't be afraid of it at all, and it should. We would certainly expect that would be the option he would choose. Yeah,
PK is already well established within the community, and he knows his way around these situations. And there's the confirmation that Cecil has now become a paladin, gaining and telegating Meteo and all the other spells that he has got.
Yeah, it's too bad the MP overflow glitch is not on. So Tella will never be able to use Meteo, but that's part of his story.
Yep. And no, using a summon drop doesn't count. So PK's done with Ordeals in pretty much quick fashion and styling fashion, no less, with the kamikaze strats.
And our runner's having a nice meeting on Ordeals. All four up on Ordeals at the same time. Everybody having the same idea. PK is the first to finish. Yeah,
and again, Escrunt's running a party composition a little bit different, just because Escrunt has yet to go down into the underground, and it looks like PK is actually going to go for Sirens.
He has 5 of them, and so this He might be using a couple sirens to make further D machines be less scary, or he could be thinking all he needs are 5 sirens, and then he'll be able to roll over some bosses and get the rest of the experience he needs that way.
Yeah, that's a strat. That's an interesting strat as well. Normally, I wouldn't go for something like this unless I found sirens early, and that's what the case is. And I would wait until I get the 10 key items for the double experience. But in this case, you would just pretty much you'll take that. It's like an early pickup, and just looks like that's the one siren that PK wants to do. I guess it just so that Cecil can gain some levels.
And it should be enough to take care of the tower bosses, which is where he is going.
Yeah, with the tower key in hand off of Sheila 1, this is this makes a lot of sense for PK to go here. And that alert had no chance.
Yeah, these alerts not fearsome under most circumstances. PK is going to dive for trap chest. You imagine trying to get a great weapon for Cecil, and Excal, a crystal sword.
Yeah, the first one we did see was a gold apple, and then we also saw a rune ring. The gold apple is nice and all. Just something to pump up for, I guess, later on.
He gets a siren to replace the one he lost, but yeah, the holy swords for Cecil, just such a game changer. It's worth it to take out these alerts, especially since you're at the levels where you could just one-shot them and never have to see any of the enemies they spring forth. And it's worth it. There are 4 trap chests in the tower, worth it to go take care of those in quick succession. See if you can't get lucky.
And so far, just nothing really coming up for PK. We did find a Masa, but at this point, PK's party is pretty much all locked in. That may as well be just free money at that point.
Which is always useful.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying that like it's free money is not a good thing. Just having that Masa just gain a lot of health, a lot of gil that way just really helps.
Swords can be exchanged for goods and services.
Well, we did also find a power shirt, and that's going to go on Cecil.
Yeah, we're looking at Vantasia's setup right now. Cecil has some heavy armor on Vantasia's side, but the best weapon he has so far is an ice brand. I believe all of our runners have an Artemis bow at that point, so if they want to get a little bit cheeky with that, can have Cecil rip off some arrows from the back row.
And yeah, that's what PK is going to do. Just going to slap on that Artemis bow along with charm arrows so that PK can, just have Cecil do some good damage from being on the back row. You see Vivalis on the Rubicante spots, and that is
not for her.
Yeah.
And those are the Baron guards up at the top of the tower. We've been seeing a couple of free bosses so far. Nothing really threatening as yet.
Yeah, there's a lot of the easier fights have been seen. So Coffin's gonna be thrown out for PK just to help mitigate just to keep them at bay, and also just using life pots to gain a little more experience.
Yeah, the most annoying thing about the top of the tower is just how much HP this spot has. But when you can take care of half that HP with just one coffin, it's not as big of a problem.
Yeah, and just Cecil gonna go ahead and throw out that Bacchus wine and just start just going to town with these arrows.
Esgrun did complete his climb up Ordeals. Vatacia's characters, by the way, are spelling out "I so not clever," which I think he's selling himself short. He can't talk about my friend that way.
Knowing Vatacia for quite a while, it's I mean I don't he's definitely selling himself short. He's good on the mic, and he's also from what I've seen pretty good here here on the Free Enterprise side.
He sure is. He's performed well at the tournaments he's entered. He's a valuable member of the Restream team. He's just a great guy to have around, so we're glad to see him racing. We're glad to see so many people come out. We have 22 racers on tonight, so the 4 on screen plus 18 others. It's good to be close to tournament time again.
Yeah, it'll be great because this will be my first tournament ever. And just while we're just to hold that thought, Mike is in the Giant of Babel, which is required. And we might, and it looks like we might just start off with a D machine grind, just to get those levels up.
Yeah, and PK got a legend sword from the top of tower. That is an Excalibur. PK Cecil is now fully online.
Oh yeah, that's just great. This is great for PK. He's right here in the underground. Just go ahead and just start that forge. Take a look at what Coco has for sale. If there's anything good, maybe just something to help improve that later on. That's a plague that goes down really quickly, and you'd love to see a plague at that spot.
Yeah, absolutely no problem there. And so as soon as PK walks out of the tower, the super cannon will be officially destroyed.
And that is another objective for PK.
Yeah, PK will have had 2 objectives. Once he gets down to the bottom, we'll get another key item check. Mike setting up his D machine grind. And Vatacia looks to have a similar thought to PK. Gonna see what the tower is all about.
Yeah, and we'll be rewarded with an Excal over on the Lugay spot.
Yeah, and the trap chest will be a little bit disappointing, but that Excal is going to salve some wounds.
Oh yeah, for sure. And Esgrun now heading into the Dwarf Castle. Gonna see that item shop that we did see from earlier on, which is coffins. Seeing that, gonna go ahead and start selling off some stuff just so that he can get some of those. And PK rightfully heading over to the Kokal Forge.
Yeah, the key item was the hook. That's required. It's also a character check. It's also a couple of shop checks. There are 2 tier 5 items that are guaranteed to be in that Evelyn shop. And that is an interesting Kokal shop. Ribbons, defense swords.
Yeah, spicy stuff.
PK wants a ribbon.
Yeah,
Sells some stuff to get it and gets the Excal.
Yeah, I think you well, Excal is nice and all. I think that the defense sword might be in the cards for him if the maybe as a T Wildish pickup or something else. Oh, interesting. Esgrun just going to go ahead and just was looking to see what the Dwarf Castle boss was. It is the alt gauntlets.
Yeah, that's an annoying fight at the beginning of Dwarf Castle, and Escron doesn't want any part of it right now.
Oh no. Especially considering that he's got the pan to worry about.
Very much so. That's kind of a last check.
Yeah, but PK, I mean, at this point, he's pretty much okay. Looks like he's gonna go and check it for himself, and also not wanting to do with it too.
Yeah, it's just why bother unless you have to.
Right. And I caught this while I was looking at PK's side. Mike is doing that demon machine grind.
Yep, Mike going to take care of that grind now. Found the D machines, is all set up, so we'll keep an eye on him to see how that grind progresses. And Vatasia actually found a defense sword from somewhere, and he slaps it on Cecil.
Oh yeah, at that point, as soon as you get the defense sword, that's an immediate upgrade from the X-Cal.
I don't think it's an upgrade from the X-Cal. It's definitely an upgrade from the Ice Brand, which is what Vatasia was rolling with.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Okay. Yeah, a defense sword is a great third option. It's not an X-Cal, but nothing is an X-Cal except a crystal sword.
Well, yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean that's fine. Yeah, that's what I meant. Defense sword is good. It just it's no X-Cal, but which Vatasia is going to get soon.
Yes. But the fact that it was available from a chest from somewhere and I didn't see where kind of lends credence to PK's decision not to pick one up for sale in the Coco shop.
Yeah, I mean, with the fact that you're already in the you're here just to get the X-Cal, and you see the defense sword at that point, there's it's better just to pick up that X-Cal just until you see Crystal Sword, and that means you're just getting that. By the time you see the Crystal Sword, you're pretty much all set.
PK is going to dive into the Antlion Cave, and once the Antlion Cave is completed, here are PK's options. PK can go to the moon and take on the moon bosses. PK could go into the Land of Summoned Monsters and take on Odin or Ashura. PK could go to Dwarf Castle and take on the Alt Gauntlet. Or PK could go to Twin Harp. So all of the choices left at this point are annoying to some degree, and in some cases, really difficult.
Yeah, and always thankfully the CPU here in the Antlion spot is just it helps. So I think if I was in this position with PK, I'd say maybe just start with the moon first, because you have two objectives there: Murasame and Crystal Altars. And then once you're done with that, you might decide to just gamble staying on the moon and maybe getting some of your remaining objectives like Pinktail or your Baron Key.
Would you be comfortable enough with your levels to dive the moon at this point?
That's the more deciding factor of me. Like, if it's starting with the levels that PK has, most like haven't really took a look at it for myself. But if it was somewhere around like the mid tier or the mid range, maybe. Although it just depends on how I'm feeling on that day.
Well, PK is going to take the hovercraft and going to check out what's in Eblin. We'll see if he wants to dive, 1 for any further treasure, 2 for that character, and 3 for those shops.
So, look, we're going to go ahead and PK's going to go ahead and drop that Excal onto Cecil. The bow has served its purpose.
The back row glitch is on, in beta, the back row glitch is one of those glitches that can be toggled on and off. It used to be that it was just a glitch. Now you can turn it off if you want, but we haven't. We're keeping it on, so Cecil can stay in the back row forever.
Yeah, and I think that the addition of the back row flag is interesting because it now opens up different party compositions. And also knowledge of how your party is composed on both front and back. That's like one thing I thought it was interesting when I read the changelog for it.
PK did find that Eblin shop and just what he was looking for. Hourglass 2s, Bacchus wines, and picked up a jug of wine. He's ready to go.
Yeah, this is a moon. This will be it for the moon, and this is going to be. First off, we're going to take a little bit of a detour here.
I think PK doesn't think he needs the D Machine grind at all at this point. I think he's going to go for the hairdryer chest and then roll through the moon bosses.
Maybe looking to grind off of I guess the King Ryus.
I think he might want to get the EXP through the bosses.
That's also a fair point. Just killing the bosses here just gains tons of experience. It's an interesting call to make. One I never would have thought to do, mostly because I as soon as I get a D Machine grind, I go for it, just because I just love doing it. I just love doing it. I just love doing the D Machine. Yeah, I love doing the D Machine grind. It's one of my favorite things to do.
You kind of get into a rhythm, and you just it's kind of a zen state.
Yeah, getting the rhythm is one of my favorite things about it.
But I think one of the interesting things about this flag set is, you're going to be pointed toward the giant so often, so the D Machine grind is always going to be there, and so the interesting thing is going to be, can you balance like how much power you're actually going to need to get through the seed, because it can be really easy to get overpowered and just waste time gaining some levels that you don't need.
PK found Adamant armor.
Speaking of overpowered.
Yes. Wow. That the hair dryer's coming up big.
And so PK's guaranteed 2 Adamant armors because he has to turn in that pigtail.
Yes, this is incredible news for PK. In a really good position as he's going into K value.
Yeah, I feel really bad for whoever's waiting at the bottom of Cape Bahamut here, because they're not going to know what hit him.
Yes. At this point, well, with that Excal Cecil in tow, he's going to go Burr straight up. Leviathan here on Cave Bahamut. Again, I guess a chocolate position. Summon, but not in the right spot. Sounds like my Wordle games.
Mike, meanwhile, finishing up his D Machine grind. Those are some pretty beefy characters. Young over 4,000, Cecil over 3. going to clear out the giant, and then you would imagine going straight after that moon to full clear that. In the element spot is a mist dragon. Doesn't contain a key item, but does contain a whole lot of HP.
Yeah, but at least that's at least it's not like the worst fight you could find. At least I guess well, not worst fight to find. I don't know, like in general, I'm not sure about this position.
It's gonna be slow. Element spot is decently fast. It has the most HP in the game of any boss other than Zeromus. It's just going to take a while. Shouldn't be exceedingly difficult though.
Yeah, I mean that tends to be the case with the mist. It's just that it's not a terrible fight to deal with. Just depending on the position, it might be either really easy or kind of slow.
Esgrunt popped a siren, took care of an egg to get a couple more levels. Vitasia is going to get the bad news about the blue robes in Dwarf Castle.
And that will be the information about the Alt Gauntlet. I wouldn't be surprised if chooses to reset out of this.
Well, we have seen 2 runners reset out of it so far, but Vitasia's gonna hang in there. Must want to play with some reptiles. Gonna take on some armadillos and tortoises.
Tortoises, I guess. Toidles.
Aw, they're just cute little turtles.
Are they? But they're in a half shell though.
Now, our restreamer Alicel making the good point. Dwarf Castle does have a character check. If it's another Cecil, Vitasia could be in a really good spot.
Oh yeah, double Cecil. Yang pretty much serves his purpose. Has served his purpose for him at that point. To go in double Cecil, and then having Rosa and then Tella on hand. Yeah, that's one spicy party you got there.
EK taking on that Murasame altar and finding Mom Bomb.
Okay, an extra 9,000 health. That's not a big deal though.
Esgrunt has the same idea as the other runners, going to take on the trap chest in the Tower of Zot. Wasn't able to take care of the alerts quickly though, and a Chimera appears. So gonna try it again.
Yeah, it's early on. You might as well just retry that. Earth Crystal. Not required, but it is an objective. But you're gonna need that. You're gonna pick that up anyway because it is an objective.
Yes, the Murasame altar itself is an objective. So PK now has completed 3 of the 7 objectives. The Earth Crystal itself, another 2 character checks if for some reason PK is looking for that. But I imagine the only reason he'd check that is if he still needs a key item somewhere along the way. Maybe if the Baron key is up there.
Vitasia's through the Alt Gauntlet, and there's another Cecil.
Wow. And says, "See ya, old man, you can take that Stardust Rod. Don't need it. Got a Cecil."
Oh, this is great for Fantasia. Double. We're going to go triple Zerk strats. Ooh.
With an Excal Cecil, with a Defense Sword Cecil, and with a Young that by the end of the grind is going to be super powered.
Oh yeah, this is a great party for Fantasia. I mean, seeing PK and Mike's party, they're fine, but ooh, Fantasia's wanting to stay with that. Fantasia wanted to stay through with the Alt Gauntlet, getting rewarded handsomely.
And this is kind of the idea of the Adamant Cup group stage. If you joined us at the later stages of previous tournaments, those are more characterized by finding it hard to find things, scraping through, getting by the skin of your teeth. The Adamant Cup group stage, it's all about finding that power and seizing it with both hands, and Vantasia's ready to do that.
Oh, PK found Payman over on the Crystal Sword altar. This will be a tough one.
So it might be a little bit of a bottleneck for our runners. Really determine who's ready to take the seed.
Fantasia gets rewarded with a package from Luca's pendant. Not of course not required, but I mean, you pretty much get rewarded with a free of another Cecil. I mean, that's a win in my book.
Well, we don't know. Well, Fantasia did get another Cecil. I doubt he's going to check the package at this point, even if there's another Cecil there. But that package does get Fantasia up to 9 key items.
Yeah, this will. Yes, even though the package won't be anything, it won't be needed. It is part of the. It is a key item. It's one. We are one away from 10 key items over on Fantasia's side. That will give him that double experience.
Streamer Alicel is throwing cold water on my dreams of having a triple Cecil.
That would be kind of funny, like, honestly. Like, honestly, if it was like Relax Flags, that would totally be the case. Like Relax Party or whatever. Or is that still the same, even if it's unrelaxed?
I'm not sure about that at the moment. I think you need the maybe flag on.
Maybe? I don't know.
But Mike is through that D-Mist and finding the Magus Sisters at the end of the Giant. Could be a problem.
Yeah, I mean, Mike's going to be, if that's like the least of his problems. But PK is through the DKC fight.
Well done for PK.
Yep, surviving the dark waves, those 3 dark waves that's necessary to hold on, and we'll get another objective down.
Yes, and that is 4 objectives down for PK, 3 to go. Do want to thank our tracker Bardic Panda for doing an exemplary job of the objectives, and the key items have been coming in fast and furious. He's been doing wonderfully, and want to thank our restreamer Alicel stepping in at the last minute and making sure that the fires have been kept very manageable.
Yeah, we appreciate you, Alicel.
And thank you to Professor Renderer for hopping up in here in the booth with me. I know you wanted to be playing this one, but as Yogi Berra said, you can observe a lot by watching.
Oh yeah. That like learning, basically having the commentary, being in the commentary booth is always great. Just seeing the different play styles and seeing the different strategies from both from all of the runners that's on the restream, and just taking advantage of what you know. I've personally been watching a lot of Possum Morpheus, incredible player as it is, and I've just been loving this, probably picking up some of his tips and tricks, and just finding my place.
So I don't know if you're a fan of American football at all, but sometimes teams will run trick plays even when they don't really need to, but they just want to do it to put something on tape. And I want to think that our restream runners just want to do that, maybe make some plays that they are thinking of not making, or would be a little bit unusual for them, just to give the other runners in the tournament a little something to think about.
Yeah, I mean, as speaking from someone who doesn't watch a lot of American football, I watched the Super Bowl, one mighty fine game as it was, but this isn't the place to talk about it right now. We just want to talk about the real fight over on PK's side, because that's a Luke fight.
Yes, Dr. Monologue is chatting it up with PK. Mike did make it through the giant, found Sid at the end, and his party has no place for an engineer, but he's going to take on that tower. Mike's going to try and be making up the time with superior levels here. Yeah,
the amount of time he put in for a D machine grind is definitely helping. This is one of the strategies that, as soon as I graduated from just doing simple Siren grinds, and learning the D machine grinds, that's probably one of the best things that you see from the D machine grind. Just that the amount of levels with just basically just going for a power overwhelming move. PK finds the rat tail. It is a tail, not exactly what we need, but it will lead to an objective, possibly leading to a key item.
Yeah, it's certainly a possibility. S-Grunt going to take on the Odin in the Fey March. And wasn't really well set up for that. Will probably want to take a little bit of time to set it up and see if he can't take on, because the Odin's doable. Not cheesable with this party, but the Odin can be taken on.
And we were talking about monologues earlier with Luge. Here's an even bigger monologue. This is the Golbez fight.
Yep, Golbez has turned the moon into his own personal chuckle hut. Now we have to listen to a stand-up special. You know, Golbez is the kind of guy who brags about killing the crowd. Except he's literally killing the crowd.
Adorable.
But he leaves his big brother up. Or little brother? Which brother is Cecil?
I believe I think he's the youngest of the two. If I'm remembering the lore right. Because I think, yeah, right, because Golbez was still a kid when Cecil was born.
Right.
Yes. So, and LSL confirming that, yes, Cecil is the youngest of the two brothers.
I don't know. As the older of two brothers, Golbez just seems like a younger brother to me because he's the evil one.
I mean, he does leave with the Baron Key.
And another X-Cal.
Ooh. Oh, and this is also going to be great for Fantasia once he reaches the Golbez fight.
Very much so, and it's required. So everybody's got to go got to go through that Golbez and make him ask the ultimate question.
Oh, Astron gets the pink tail off of Odin.
Wow. So that Odin is required as well. Esgrunt has a little bit of advantage and going to take on that Asher as well.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we're at no mode at this point.
I believe you're right. In fact, you are right. We know where everything we need to complete all 7 objectives are.
And you love to see this PK finding the water hags on the Ogopogo spot.
I mean, who's you? Who loves to see it? Maybe PK does.
Everyone loves to see it. Like it's a free fight.
Not me.
Why not?
I want to see pain. I want to see struggle.
I guess the Sand Ruby counts. I mean, it's not what you want to see, but
does get a Sand Ruby. It's another key item. PK doesn't carry. He's about 10. But doesn't reset out of that. It's good EXP.
But yeah, that is gonna be PK's moon, and it required no less. I think all PK really needs to do is head down to the Fey March just to finish up Odin, and you're good to go.
Well, he does need to take on that basement throne.
Right, yeah.
Which, depending on who's down there, could still present a little bit of a problem. We haven't seen, for example, Kainatsu yet. Kainatsu could be an issue down there. There aren't too many bosses that would scare PK at that point, but that could still be a problem.
If I may interject, Kainatsu was early. That was on the back end spot.
Oh, you're right. We did see Kainatsu right at the beginning.
Yes.
So, Kainatsu can't pull double duty on the throne. We can't have triple Cecil. Just all of my hopes and dreams have just been shattered.
Vitacia's gonna fight Belknap Z here.
Let's operate him directly now.
Yes, before the real fight.
Oil. Oil.
Wait, you're trying to kill me here?
I'm not the one exploding. That's Luge.
Yeah. I guess he's blasting off again. Seriously, he's on the moon. He's gonna blast off back to Earth.
Yeah.
I guess. Well, I guess. Well, aside from that, PK's gonna go ahead and fight Kainatsu.
So, PK, I imagine, given the bosses that we've seen already, I imagine PK's gonna go right. Oh, and yeah, with his Cecil at 2,500 HP, he's gonna go right down into the basement.
Yeah, this is pretty much well equipped as well, and hey, also 3,600, nearly 3,600 for Yang as well.
And we're going to find out, would it be quicker to complete Baron Castle or to sneak on back out the sewer?
That's actually an interesting thought.
Bahamut down here is pretty close to free.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're not really worried about just reflecting the Mega Nuke back. You're just gonna have Cecil go burr. That's it.
Yeah. Esgrunt still tangling with this Asura, and not going great for him at this point. I think he's trying to lifelock Asura. Tough to do at this spot, because this spot is fairly quick. I don't know how many Darvales Esgrunt has. Has blinked up Cecil, but needs to get blinks up on more people.
Vitasia does pull Golbez. Will receive another Excal for the other Cecil that he has picked up. And
PK
on top of that, yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah. I was gonna say, on top of that, he will receive the Baron Key, which is required.
Yes. PK did take care of that Bahamut and is going to fight his way out of Baron Castle.
Makes sense. And hey, it is the Elements fight.
Won't be an issue.
No.
It will give Tella some more floor inspecting time.
Yes, the floor is a floor.
And PK using the Kamikaze again. He's just laughing at this point. He's used the Kamikaze strats twice.
And who needs an Eddie at this point? Your party is pretty much all ready to go. You don't even care about an Eddie at this point. You're not even you haven't found the spoon. You already have your party locked in. You're just gonna really dismiss everyone you find at this point.
There were maybe 2 bosses in this seed that could have potentially benefited from an Eddie. One was DKC at Crystal Sword, but PK made it through that with a beefy Young. And the other is Odin, but PK won't have an issue with that. And hey, you need another Excalibur?
Oh my! Wow! Wow! What is up with that? PK just sitting there, just like, wow. Okay. Ugh. As if the amount of Excals being found wasn't enough. I mean, either way, you're gonna have you wanted to do this anyway, just because it is for all intents and purposes required. Like, because you have to, well, not required, but you were here along the way. You might as well just get it out of the way, and after you're done with the Odin fight, the Odin spot fight.
It's like 10,000 Excals when all you need is a Crystal Sword.
I mean, the other swords at this point are just free money.
Yeah, and not even that. It's just wasting inventory.
Yeah,
there aren't too, unless you want to hop into the Eblin shops and stock up on Bacchus wines. There aren't a ton of items that you're gonna need.
Vitasia pulling the Excal and just raring to pick that, just put that on the other Cecil that he picked up during the Dwarf Castle.
Yeah, and that Golbez does hide 2 Excals because that Golbez has the Baron Key, which does contain that second Excal.
What? You're expecting an edge?
Mike does trade in that pink tail, gets Adamant armor.
And PK is down to the Fey March. Will take on Azura the Azura spot, which is oh shit, I forgot already.
It's Odin.
Oh, it is Odin. All right. Okay, cool. All right. So, which again won't be a big deal for PK, considering his party as it is. Going with the bosses, just getting with the main drive for the experience, and afterwards he will be in go mode. All he really needs to do is is it just turn in the pink tail and go and just fight go through Giant Babel.
Yeah, won't even take on that Ashura. Knows there's nothing there for him there. But
Yeah.
and that Thunderclaw doing work on that Odin. You love to see it.
Yes. And that will be go mode for PK.
Yep, just needs to go through the Giant of Babel and trade in that pink tail. He will have his crystal after that.
And with no pass, you're gonna go in swag walk.
Well, yeah, that's certainly the case. Might take a safety save, but knowing PK, probably won't.
I think considering PK's position, I don't think he should be really too worried about it. At least I don't think.
What's that adamant armor right on Rosa? I think PK's got to be pretty sanguine about how his party is shaping up.
Yeah, this is as soon as he found Cecil, it was already it was like we saw it was a like coming from a mile away. That is like that's his party, full stop.
Escrunt, meanwhile, going to be the hero of the people and check out that twin harp.
If it's linked to the past, this will be interesting. I mean, well, not interesting, but like it'll be a little bit somewhat unfortunate. I don't know.
Oh, it'll be good. It certainly will be worth keeping and walking out.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know if there are any other items out there that would be worth walking out.
Oh, the pass was on the Azure spot.
Oh. Mike got through Ashura and got that pass. So unfortunately, there's not going to be anything really rewarding for S-Grunt at the Twin Harp, but we are going to enjoy some music. Play us a song, you spoony bard. Well, I don't recognize that song, but it was a positively bucolic and a well done rendition and arrangement as always. Escrunt does get the Luca key, has to walk that out, because he doesn't know.
Yeah. I wasn't really sure, honestly. usually whenever I don't know what it is, I just look at the harp, just see what it is, just out of curiosity.
I mean, I do that every time. But,
I would so no, I don't think it's the town theme. I would recognize the town theme from a mile away from FF1.
Well, hopefully somebody, once the seed is run, somebody returns to Edward's room, plays the harp theme, and will give us an answer on what song that is. But it was gorgeous, and thanks to Esgrud for checking it out for us.
Yeah, the man of the people.
And that's what he's doing. So Mike gonna check out the questions that Golbez is asking. Spoiler alert, is that it? And why? Vatasia taking on the Odin throne, the Bahamut, and PK taking on this D-Mist. It's going to take a little bit. Mike, if Mike takes decisive action here, which once Mike gets through Golbez, will make a beeline toward Baron Castle. We'll see.
Yeah. This is still pretty good for PK. Like, honestly, this will be really good. This is still good for PK, considering people about the past, considering he's on the Astro spot. But I mean, it doesn't really matter. Like, he's pretty much he's crafted a pretty good route despite it.
So if you're watching this and this looks like fun to you, and I don't know why it wouldn't, you want to get involved in the Adamant Cup, there is still time to sign up. Next week is the last week to sign up. The tournament's going to start March 5th. So if you're not in there already, go join the Discord. Go sign up for the Adamant Cup. All skill levels are welcome, even me, because they haven't kicked me out yet.
I mean, I try, despite me putting in like 3 hours, two and a half hours. I don't give up when I don't give up. No, I'm a chuckster.
Mike gets through that Golbez immediately exiting out. Mike also has the pass, don't forget.
Yeah, that is right. Yeah. We might just see Mike overtake PK, and with the levels that he's gotten from the D Machine grind,
it's gonna be close. It's gonna be close.
Yeah, it will be close.
PK through that D-Mist, gonna take on the Magus Sisters. Meanwhile, Vatasia gets through the Baron Castle, going to get his Excal. Esgrun taking on the Sasura again, has a blinks up on everybody. And we'll see if he has a plan to deal with Ashura's cures this time. Yeah,
when you're fighting Ashura, it's hard not to be like a little miffed about the constant healing that she does to herself. It's you might just be doing a whole. You have to find some way to just out damage her, to the point where she doesn't have a way to like heal back the amount that she has.
Yeah, and there are a couple different strategies that people prefer to use in order to do that. One is to do what's called a life lock, where you make sure that you attack her when she has her gray face showing, and due to a glitch in her AI, she'll just spin around to the gray face and only do life 1. If you find her in a good spot where she's not too fast, that could be the way to go. Another option is to cast Wall on her, either by direct casting or by putting a Star Veil on yourself and then throwing another Star Veil on yourself to bounce it off. Then she'll reflect all the cures back to her. And then you could just do what S-Grunt did, which is a combination of putting a wall on and then out damaging her. So S-Grunt through that Ashura gets the pass. Well done there.
Yeah, well done. And PK has received all the objectives, has obtained the crystal.
PK is our first to get the crystal. Batasia going to give us a reprise of the harp music.
Enjoy.
Like a hot knife through butter.
And it seems like the working theory between the chat is that it's from one of the Ordeals games from the game on the Game Boy Color over in the Zelda franchise.
Mike did get his crystal. And Vatasia let us know, but scrolled through it too quickly for my eyes.
Yeah, I didn't see what it was myself, but I think I saw something about Ordeals seasons. I don't know.
Mike is going to sneak back out of the sewer, then head to Troya to use that pass. PK not going to make the swag walk, going to make the safety save. And I did say earlier on that there were 22 total runners in this race. No finishers yet, so as far as we know, PK, Mike still racing for first place.
Yeah, so I double checked along with Bardic Panda, our tracker. It's Luna City from Oracle of Seasons, or no,
Wow.
Oracle of Ages.
Okay.
So as PK is making his way down, now is the important time, or the important time to say this. Because we shuffle all the bosses, we can't really shuffle Zero Miss around. It wouldn't make any sense. So instead, we give Zero Miss a random sprite out of a total of like around 500 some sprites. If you want to do the honors, feel free to do so.
Whose butt? We get a kick tonight.
And is it cute? Does it have a butt? And all the other questions.
PK going to enter the Z fight first. Mike right on his tail. Mike is going to enter the Z fight at about 30 seconds after PK.
Yep. And this will be. Yeah, this is gonna be close, for sure.
Batasia finds Edge up at the tower of Tower Zot. A little late, buddy.
It's Chaos Zero to be more precise. Not Chaos from Final Fantasy 1. It's just Chaos from Sonic Adventure.
How perfect.
Perfect case. I see what you did.
You gotta end the seed with a little bit of chaos.
No, Jevel's not in this. Does he have? He doesn't have a whole lot of chaos emeralds, I would imagine. He doesn't have anything to eat. If the weird localization for Sonic Adventure 1 is anything to go by.
So PK has about, I would say, a 45-second head start. And I don't know if Mike has quite the firepower to make up.
Well, well, we'll see. I think so. With Cecil having the high level, I mean, we'll see. I think with Cecil and Yang over on Mike's side being, obviously pumped up considering the D machine grinds. I don't know.
See, but we do have a first place finisher in first place with a time of 1:24.06. It's X Pancraz laying down the marker that he is the player to beat for the Adamant Cup. GG to X Pancraz coming in first place tonight.
We've seen X Pancraz before. He's obviously one of a really strong contender, and we're gonna be and it's still not over yet for that podium spot.
Very much so, and it's coming right down to it between PK and Mike. It's gonna be close.
Oh yeah,
and that is the flash. PK has taken down Chaosmus and has finished in second with a time of 1:25.34. GG's to PK4787. It's staking his claim as one of the most feared runners heading into the Adamant Cup.
Yes, this the incredible performance from PK. It just, that the party composition was perfectly laid out for him, just right there. Ooh, yeah, your look out.
Shaking the rust off and taking down Zeromus, and we are joined by PK4787 in second place. GG's, what'd you think of that seed?
That Dark Knight Cecil fight really threw me. That was about the only hiccup in that entire run, I think.
Yeah, it wasn't. It's not a fun fight considering where the position of that. Yeah. To interject a little bit here, the flash has happened from over on Mike's side. Finishes third with an official time of 1:26.36.
GG's to Mike. So, PK, what'd you think when you went up to that moon and found that Dark Knight Cecil?
Well, I kind of threw off my plan because I was going to do hair dryers right when I got there. And so instead it was like, well, it doesn't make sense to do hair dryers with the Dark Knight Cecil, but also my party is complete and I don't need anyone else. So it was a gift and a curse, but it was pretty obvious routing from there on out, at least as far as get Cecil online. None of those, I don't know if you saw, but I hit all 4 trap chests in the Tower of Babel in a row and got just absolutely nothing of note out of it. That was my Crystal Sword dig.
Yeah, we certainly noticed you were searching for that, and a rune ring is nice, but you had bigger plans.
I was hoping for something larger and double-edged. I mean, the tower itself giving you that that legend sword, which led to an X-Cal, and then the seed itself giving you what, like 3 more X-Cals. So it's fine.
Yeah, it was kind of rude, but yeah, I mean, at least it worked out. In the end, like despite it, running, you don't. It's not often well, I don't know if it's not often, but if you have nothing else, if you don't find your extra crystal sword or Ragnarok, whatever you want to call it, just that X-Cal is the best thing you can really do.
Yeah. And you know, at a certain point, and on these flags, it's like, okay, if I have a hook route, I'll go into Castle Eblin and I'll see what I can find. You know, like there are definitely times I feel like digging is good, but I had coffins, I had sirens, I had a Yang with 2 cat claws. You know, outside of that hairdryer's chest and those Zot chests, it didn't feel like it was worth sort of trying to dig.
So basically, when you're thinking about how to attack these flags, based on your practice so far and how it went tonight, what do you think is the real key in having success in the group stage on these flags?
Well, I mean, I'll be honest, this is only the second Adamant group flags that I've ever actually completed. So I don't know if my advice is going to be incredibly sage or not, despite my title. But you know, I think there's definitely a give and take with trying to find better gear, and with the way the treasure plays out, the way everything plays out. I think it's really like get enough to get yourself through the early game, and then from there, like, you know, if you have a set, you know, like if there's something that you can really, if you have a Cecil, then if, you know, the tier 7, tier 8s you can pull, there's a high probability that something you pull out of that will benefit you. But otherwise, you know, spending 10 minutes to try to get an adamant armor isn't exactly the type of way, they're at least the way I like to play the game.
Well, the way you played the game tonight was certainly wonderful to see. Great to have you tuning up for the tournament again. Professor, any other questions for PK?
Just again, just GG and thanks for an incredible performance.
Well, thanks for having me. Thank you, Sheep and Prof, and thank you always to Allie, my comms partner in crime, for restreaming, and the Bardic Panda for pushing all the buttons. And I'll let Mike come in here. You all have a good night.
Yeah, have a good night, GG. And GG.
Before Mike comes in, want to update on some of the off-stream finishers. Mike did finish in 3rd place. Pyre finished in 4th place with a time of 1:27.26. Antidale finished in 5th place with a time of 1:28.24. Rybon comes in 6th place with a time of 1:30.23. Klopfer in 7th place with a time of 1:31.54. And Poydrak comes in 8th place with a time of 1:32.04. And we are joined by Mike 34, our 3rd place finisher. GG's.
Hey, thank you. That race went amazing.
Yeah.
It sure looked like you were having fun out there. That Deep Machine grind went pretty well for you.
It was kind of jank, but I mean, no one died that didn't need to. Like, I kept ethering myself with Tella when he should have been weaking, so it went slower than it could have, and I did over grind a little bit. But I had, like, Cecil was literally wearing no armor at the time, so I knew things could punch hard. I was just hoping for hard bosses after that to make the grind worth it, and they were all pretty hard, so I was happy.
Yeah, and So one thing that was different between you and PK was that you had the pass, whereas PK hadn't gotten it, so was opting just to just to go just run down the moon, save up just in case things go wrong. Whereas you had the pass going in, so you didn't have to worry too much about it. And you pretty much got matched up, pretty much almost neck and neck, just pretty much in lockstep. And the only difference was just a minute apart, which is nice.
Yeah, to keep pace with a runner like PK was really exciting. We had some fun before the race. He donated all his cookies, and so I gave him 25 more cookies, and then he used all those too. I mean, he bet all of his, then I donated some, and he bet those too, and then I wagered. So we made a lot of cookies.
Perfect.
Yeah, well, third place does get you some cookies back, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
So, how do you feel like your Adamant Cup practice has been going so far? It certainly seems like it's paid off.
Yeah, it looks like it. I haven't been doing this well in practice. Like, I was only a few minutes behind Pancras tonight, who got first. And usually we run most nights, and he's beating me by like 20 to 30 minutes. So to be that close, hopefully I can do this well in the actual tournament phase.
Yeah, we'll see. This is definitely if you with a time like that and a good position like that, I would say just don't sleep on it just yet. Just sleep on it.
I'm definitely looking forward to it. I mean, the seed was also incredibly generous and very divergent from most of my practice seeds. Like, I haven't done more than 1D money in practice, and with the giant right there and needing levels and having the party I wanted, it was just sitting there for me. The bedward was a pan after opening magma. It's just crazy seed how well things fell together.
Yeah, it certainly did line up a party that was pretty easily accessible, that you could certainly take to Z right away. That was very nice as well. Based on this seed and based on your practice seeds, what do you think the key is to having success in the group stage?
Route efficiency is really big. Like, since you're doing most everything, you really want to single dip as much as you can. So Fabul, I've noticed the runners that do the best are single dipping Fabul a lot. If you can single dip Fey March, that's a plus. Also, you get a lot of generous opening items. So if the sea dictates, you can save some loot time. Like I did here, actually. I didn't do Eblin or Watery Pass. I just went underground and got lucky with a crystal ring and something else pretty good in Sylph Cave, opening a couple chests and then opened down through Fey March, and I only ended up with 42 chests or so.
Well, that's no dia, but that's still pretty impressive.
There's a lot of strats I've seen. Most people like to fish for a sword for Cecil, but at the same time, if you have power like I did here, I just kind of hope for Forge, and got it pretty lucky and early. I did consider with Tella going down to Eblin and stoning through all the chests and seeing if I could pop one, but with Pink Tail as an objective and having that Forge, we were good to go.
Yeah, and the seed was very generous with X-Cals in the end. So even though no Crystal Sword showed up, at least that we saw, I think your Cecil was doing pretty good for himself.
Yeah, like 6.7 or so K a hit, we'll take that. And then level like 50 Yong or whatever incredibly high level he was doing alright too.
Yeah, but I was mentioning earlier the start of the game, having the early Yang. I mean, it might be a little bit of a slow start if you don't have the right equipment. But once you have the levels necessary, it's like he just becomes a powerhouse.
Yeah, those cat claws were nice. I was debating whether Yang was gonna stay in the seat the whole time, and with the cat claws down, and I believe it was Fey March, he was set with that and a headband. That's all he really needed. I was kind of hoping Forge would have maybe some Zeus gauntlets or some fun toys, but it just had some apples that I threw on my 2900 HP Rosa.
Well, there you go. So, any final thoughts on the seed before we let you go?
Yeah, I couldn't have hoped for a better seed to be restreamed on Community Race. I'm happy as some of the top finishers. Thank you guys.
Well, you certainly showed that you are going to be a force to be reckoned with in the Adamant Cup. So, best of luck to you in the tournament, and congratulations again on your third place finish.
Thanks. We got to represent those pink puffs, right?
Exactly. Pink puffs rule.
Yay, pink puffs!
GG's again, Mike.
Thanks, again.
And while we had the interview going, there's a couple more finishers as well. Tybalt finished 9th with a time of 1:33.12. Rex Banner finishing in 10th with a time of 1:35.37. Sorbius finishing 11th with 1:35.59, and Flurry 14 12th, 1:38.28.
GG's to all those runners. Vitasia has picked up his Crystal S Grunt. Just needs to get through the bosses on the Giant, and he will have his. There were 22 runners this evening. A pretty good turnout for a Friday night.
Yeah, it's nice to see that that turnout, especially with the Adamant Club coming closer and closer to finally kick it off. Yeah, this will be great. I'm excited, even though I might still be a little slow. I just want to at least play to get out of my comfort zone. I don't know if I don't see myself getting past the groups, but I just want to just play it just to get out of my comfort zone, try new things, just just slowly over time pick up the speed, and maybe make a shot at it. Maybe be at the top runners too. Who knows?
Yeah, give it a shot.
Yeah,
That's what it's all about. Like they say with the lottery, you can't win if you don't play.
Yeah, I mean, you said earlier, signups are coming down. It's nearing the end of the sign-up period. If you want to join in, and the actual cup starts on March 5th.
Yeah, so get on in there. And again, we've seen some great runs. You can kind of grow into it as you progress through the tournament. Don't feel like you have to be a world beater right away. A lot of folks start the tournament not knowing how good they are, and then discover how good they are midway through the tournament.
So we have another case of no pass versus pass with the bottom runners, Vitasia and S Grunt.
Yeah, S Grunt having a little bit of trouble with the Demas, decided to zerk up that Young and that Cecil, and finding out that Demas does not like when you zerk up against it. That cold mist is going to take up a lot of time.
It's not ideal. Even if the damage is practically like ship damage.
Yeah, it's trivial damage, but it's the animation plays. It's just slow.
Yeah, and I'm not talking about chip as in like chip Santa, like as in Strive, but no. Just very minuscule amounts of damage.
do want to thank our restreamer Alisail and our tracker tonight, the Bardic Panda. I didn't want to make a big deal out of this, but the Bardic Panda making his tracking debut tonight on a 4-person race with all of our runners going a million miles an hour did a tremendous job. So want to thank both of them very much. It's been a lot of fun so far, and I'm looking forward to seeing a double Cecil Vitasia take down this Chaos Miss as well.
And Vitasia has made it to Zeromus.
And this Zeromus is not going to last long at all.
No, just triple Zerk and just go for that power overwhelming, going Cecil, going Burr. And yeah, this Chaos Zero is going to go down. This Chaos is just a big trip. Wonder where he's going.
Nowhere. Going nowhere.
Come on, you big trip. Where you going?
Hunter did finish in 13th place with a time of 1:41.04, and Tall Grant finished in 14th place with a time of 1:41.33. So GG's to them. Vitasia going to finish up and try and finish right behind them.
Down to the Hades is an appropriate response.
Yes.
And we're just watching this while play this Cecil go these two Cecils and this Yang go per.
Now the way this sprite is kind of oriented, it already seems like Chaos Miss is ashamed to poke its head out. Vitasia just playing whack-a-mole with it.
I mean, I just said he's a big trip. Sonic Adventure 1's localization is just ripe with classic, like, funny quotes. Watch out, you're gonna crash. Ah!
Well, you are gonna crash.
Yes. With just the amount of damage that these this triple Zerg strat's going off of. All Vitasia just doing is just waiting for whenever whenever the time it comes and there's rocks, and just to add insult to injury, Rosa is gonna get zerked.
So quad Zerk, and that is it. Vitasia finishes in 16th place with a time of 1:46.24. Let's see if we can get Vitasia in here for an interview while we're seeing about that. Saradin finished in 15th place with a time of 1:46.03. Charlie finished in 17th place with a time of 1:46.34, and Harumph finishes in 18th with a time of 1:46.40.
Yeah, can we mention the fact that like Vitasia and Charlie finished 10 seconds apart? Well, not exactly 10 seconds if you're going by decimals, but like down to the decimal.
10. Yeah,
but it's still it's still 10 seconds. What do you mean? And we're talking about Vitasia. GG.
Quad Zerk.
Quad Zerk. I had to do it for the beans. I already lost the race, so.
Especially if it's Chaos Zero. Where are you going, Big Drip? That's not exactly what, but I don't care.
He's talking gibberish. GG's Vitasia. What do you think of that seed?
So I really actually enjoyed that seed, and I felt like my play and my routing was cleaner than it's been in the past couple weeks. I know I've not been playing, I took about a year break, so I have been de-rusting for the past couple weeks. So I felt really good about this one. I imagine I lost most of my time once I came back down to Earth and I did Baron, like I swung north and tried to get Magnus Cave and the Earth Crystal, try to knock those out instead of going down into the underground. I figured that's where I lost a good chunk of time. And probably also having double Excalibur Cecils on a Mist Dragon is not the best setup to go with either.
Yeah, you did get a little bit distracted, but that was all right. The double Excal Cecil, not ideal against Mist Dragon, but pretty ideal against just about everyone else.
Yeah, it made very quick work. I took a quick second because I hadn't visited the Eblin shop, and Process of Elimination said Bacchus wines are probably there. So that was a good investment of like 30 seconds or so.
I mean, hey, at least the good thing is that you have there's another Cecil available to you.
I was perfectly happy going in there with the party that I had, and I think at that point in time it was Cecil, Young, Rosa, and Tella. Like I was perfectly comfortable for the rest of the seed doing that, and I accepted my fate. And then second Cecil showed up, and I like memes, so of course I'm gonna pick second Cecil up. So
You were the only one to do this, so at least of the two finishes that we've seen.
That doesn't surprise me. I mean, he by the time you got second Cecil, your party was pretty well established, unless you did some crazy hijinks elsewhere. So I could absolutely see other people ditching him, but I wanted someone with a little more punch than Tella, because I knew that some nasty stuff could be waiting for me in the Giant, regardless of what my level was. So when the opportunity arose, absolutely I took it. I had no intention of grinding in the Giant. I imagine a lot of people opted to, if they did an early Giant grind to knock that out, probably help them there as well. But no, overall, I felt like I ran a good race. It was just one of those rando's gonna randoed. 146 for, I think I only abandoned 3 locations in the whole game. So I'm pretty happy with that, all things said.
Yeah, you ran a really good race. Like you said, just there were some choices that just didn't pan out. In your derusting process and in getting used to these Adamant Cup flags, what's something you're noticing about the flags?
So in previous tournaments, it was a popular strategy, I suppose, is the best way to put it, to kill off a character and just kind of have a dead spot as your middle slot, so you can always control the agility and outspeed everything throughout the game. When your total character pool is down to 4, I think a lot of those strategies kind of go out the window, because you need to have a full party and at least most of them be active. So having a dedicated agility anchor is less common than in previous tournaments, and that changes, I think, the dynamic of everything from your party composition to how you approach fights and from top to bottom. So that's, I think, the one flag that I'm most excited for, is limiting the party size to 4, because I think it really shakes up what a lot of us were doing.
Very much so. It really kind of forces you to economize and make every character and every turn count.
Oh, absolutely. It's a fantastic flag set. I think for those folks who grew up in the area of Highway to the Zima Zone 3, 3 or 4, when you had 2 or 3 objectives, or you had a list of 4 objectives but only had to complete 3 of them, or anything like that. Completing all 7 objectives might sound intimidating, but you could do most of this stuff anyway. So you just keep on doing it. It's not. You're still gonna have those seeds that are 17 to 17 every now and then, and so it's not nearly as intimidating as first glance when you see all 7 objectives are required. It's a fantastic flag set. I'm having a lot of fun with this, and having a lot of fun with Adamant armors now that they're actually back. It's a fantastic piece of equipment, and I love that I can just equip someone and all of a sudden they are just the most overpowered thing in the entire game. It's amazing.
I can attest to that. And yeah, I will agree too that the seven objectives, yes, it sounds like it's a lot, but once you get a pattern going, you basically just treat it as if it's like 5, if it's 2 more objectives on a 5 objective slot. Yeah.
I mean, you just at this point you just kind of bank on, like for me personally, I bank on having to do everything, and so I try to put off routing as much stuff together until I can get everything cleared out. Like, I avoided Fabul until I had everything with the pan. I didn't do the tower until I had the tower key. So trying to make as efficient use of those checks as I can, I think is going to be key moving forward, because you have so much stuff that you can do. Like I feel like there's no empty checks. Like there's very little wasted time until you're at the very end of the race and you're like last locationing the pink tail for whatever reason. Gah.
Well, Vatasia, you've certainly shown that you're going to be a formidable runner to deal with, and that the caliber of play for this particular tournament is going to be really, really high. So GG's again. Thanks for giving us a chance to take a look, and best of luck in the tournament.
Yeah, best of luck to everyone else. Thank you to the commentators, to the trackers, to the Restream team, everyone behind the scenes. It takes a lot of work to put together these shows. I know I'm sometimes doing them as well, but all of the work, it just it's a thankless job. So thank you so much, and have a great night, everyone.
Yeah, GG.
And S Grunt is in the Z fight on his very first restreamed race, a very respectable race put together by S Grunt.
Yeah, I think what we've seen from S Grunt is, for his first outing, we're not disappointed at all. He's shown off some interesting moves that we haven't seen from them. Some valiant attempts, and some of them may not have panned out all that well. It was sure as heck. We've seen some really the persistence on him is just incredible.
Yeah, and one thing S Grunt hasn't shown is any fear. It's really great to see. He's got a lot of chops for only playing for 2 weeks, so he's growing by leaps and bounds. It's really exciting to see. We did have a 19th place finisher. Scythe Marshall came in 19th place with a time of 1:49.13. And we have rocks on S Grunt's side. And it's only a matter of time for this Chaos Miss.
Come on, you big trip. Where are you going?
Yeah, he is going crumbling into the ether. That's where he's going.
Down to the Hades.
GG's to S Grunt, an official time of 1:57.43, which, to do 7 objectives plus get the pass in sub 2 hours, real impressive. Real impressive. we'll see if we can get S Grunt in here for an interview.
And here he is. GG.
Hello, thank you.
Okay. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, it really, I am my own worst enemy when it comes to this. You can. This is the very first time that I have run in the community race, and this is the third seed with this flag set that I have ever run. The first time that I have ever gotten under 2 hours on one of these seeds. So it's really a lot of what. I still have a stubborn streak, as you might have seen this, as early as the Mylon fight, the Ashura fight, which I had to go back and see what I was missing with that, and the Demas fight, of course. But I am learning every time I play one of these seeds. I learn something new. Every time I watch someone else play one of these seeds, I learn something new. Every time I'm always learning something new, I guess.
The way it's got to be, and
Yep.
My understanding is you've only been playing for like 2 weeks, which is,
I believe it's 3 weeks at this point, but that's beside the point.
Well, that makes a huge difference.
Yes.
No, it's hugely impressive, your tenacity and your fearlessness. It really is something to see.
Yeah.
So the Baron Inn was a play you decided to make early on.
Yes.
Didn't quite work out for you the way that you wanted, but you hung in tough in there against that Mylon.
Yeah.
What was your thought process going into Baron Inn that early?
My thought process was that I wanted to have a full party as soon as possible. Just especially, I feel like it's generally more useful having more characters than less. This isn't always true, but even just having someone to throw items or potions or what have you is not a bad thing necessarily. Of course, I saw that it was Porum, but and I already had Rosa at that point, but anyone will do.
Yeah, and there are several bosses in that second spot that are manageable with that party. Mylon and Friends doesn't happen to be one of them, but
Yeah.
you
Well,
you regrouped
well,
and you were able to take it down before too long.
it would have helped if I had remembered that I had the starters rod at that point. That first attempt at that would probably have gone a lot smoother if I had remembered that. Well, life goes on.
So how do you think your practice has been going so far?
Well, like I said, this has only been the third seed that I've done. It's the first time that I've gotten less than 2 hours on one of these seeds. That's an accomplishment. I'll keep going with it, see where I get to.
Yeah, it certainly is an accomplishment. So let's talk about that Z fight. You really took down Zeromus in a hurry. When you're going through a seed and at the end, how satisfying is it to just have a Chaos Mist to beat up on?
Yeah, it's very satisfying to say the least. I've definitely had Z fights and other seeds not go that smoothly, usually due to lack of preparation, but I saw going into the fight that I had the levels, I had the characters, I had the setup. It was basically a textbook fight at that point. Hard to argue with.
Well, from your kind of perspective, what do you feel like is the key to success for these flags? I know you've only done 3 of them, but what's kind of where you want to improve, or maybe where you think races are going to be decided?
Yeah, well, it might be the case that I've only played 3 of these. I have watched several others, like many others at this point. I would go so far as to say,
Seen you
really,
around.
Yes, of course. Really, it's a question of, can you find the right characters? Can you find the right loot quickly? Because the nature of this flag set really is that you are going to be clearing most of the seed most of the time. I've seen an astonishing number of 17 seeds that people have played through. Certainly the first 2 of mine that I did were of that nature. This was not, which was a little bit of a surprise. But just you need to get going as quickly as possible. Basically, once you're going, you just clear the rest of the seed and go with it.
Well, Professor, do you have any questions for S Grunt?
But I will say that was a incredible performance from you as your first on your first outing on Restream. Jeff, just I gotta say, congratulations on your first Restream and putting up with a pretty nice seed. All things
Thank
considered.
you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, can't wait to see what else you can do. So, GG's again, and best of luck in the tournament.
I'm probably not actually going to be participating in the tournament, but that's beside the point. Thank you, anyways.
Let me tell you, that would be a crime. That you gotta go straight to jail.
Pass $200.
No, it's more a matter of I've never really been that competitive of a person. Really, my interest in running in this race to begin with was to have a large pool of reference for what I could have done better in this seed. And in general, really, I'm more interested in understanding what other people are doing and possibly commentating at some point in the future rather than running myself. So there you go.
We're happy to have you however you want to participate.
Yes.
I don't actually want to send you to jail, but we are happy to have you. This is a really good race to watch back, I think.
Yeah.
Because not only do you get to hear Professor Renderer commentate it, but all four Restream runners took different approaches at different times, and it was really interesting. It's really fascinating to watch back and see what choices people made at various times. So I think this is a really educational one.
Yeah, and as we've seen, I'm sure, not that I've seen it myself yet, but there's no one approach that will win everything.
It never is. Well, GG's once again, S Grunt. Happy to have you join the Restream team. We're always happy to have fresh meat. I mean, new people.
Thank you.
GG's.
Thank you again.
Yeah. But yeah, that's gonna do it. Yeah, thanks to I'll just say it again. Thanks to all the runners for putting on an incredible show and just showing up these flags again in time for the upcoming Adamant Cup. Shout outs to Bardic Panda again for being not only being for the track and also being for the first time on. Incredible work. And of course, Sheep Launcher being my partner in crime with tonight. You did great, man. You did great.
And Professor Renderer, thank you. And to our Restreamer Alicel, thanks. And thanks to all of you for viewing and for hanging with us. We are going to send you over to Pyre, who is doing some Adamant Cup, who's doing an Adamant Cup pickup race. So let's go cheer on Pyre, and we can't wait to see you in the tournament. So until next time, so long.
Take it easy.
And it looks like we were too quick to say goodbye. It is hard to say goodbye, but sometimes we have to. We're not going to head over to Pyre. We're going to head over to X Pancras doing Adamant Cup racing. So that's going to be fun. So anyway, so long again.
All right, take it easy for real this time.